This is The State of Things. I'm Frank Statio. In the 60s, it was psychedelic and protest rock. In the 70s, there was prog rock until disco took over. And then in the 80s, punk rock exploded.
All dressed up, we can cool our heels. She's just a Valentine in velvet rock, stretch kissing black and gold snake men. She'll suck the coins and bills from a sock, something to spend now and then.
That was the openly gay punk band Red Wedding, a group Greensboro's Billy Ingram knew all about. He covered the Los Angeles punk scene for a local gay publication back in the 80s. He saw the growth of bands like Black Flag, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the Minutemen. But while he was watching a revolution in rock, he was also witnessing something else. He found out what it was like to be openly gay in a music scene that wasn't friendly to homosexuals, and he tells the tale in his latest book, Punk. Billy Ingram joins us now in the studio. Welcome back, Billy.
Thanks, Frank.
So what was your introduction to the punk scene?
Well, I was working at Data Boy magazine, and at that time, it was a gay magazine that went out twice weekly, every other week, to all the gay bars in Southern California. And I noticed that they were just printing press releases. They didn't care. They didn't care about the content. They just cared about selling the ads. So I asked the typesetter, GDZ, I said, why don't we write a rock column? Because they're not going to pay us, so we can say anything we want. We can cover any band because the gay people don't care about punk anyway. So let's just, mess them up.
Because actually, you were sort of in on the ground floor. Punk was just sort of beginning, kind of late 70s,
76,
80s.
It started in LA. What was really beginning was that the punk bands that had come up before were starting to get more melodic. After a few years of doing that, they started thinking, well, we need to branch out. And so the whole post-punk movement started around 1980. And the band you just played was Red Wedding. Their previous incarnation, Hey Taxi. They were the openly gay punk band. And then after that, they sort of realized that you just can't keep on doing that same one-note kind of thing. So they evolved into Red Wedding, and you hear what that was. It was really actually also the beginning of the Goth scene. They were one of the first Goth bands. It was a very friendly scene, and I didn't see any real resentment about my being gay. But then again, I wasn't really, very queenie, so I'm not sure that they really knew that I was gay. But at that point, I didn't care whether they did or not. And everybody just got along. Everybody got along great. I never saw any fights. I never saw any arguments. It was a wonderful scene. It reminded me more of the hippies in terms of the attitude than what you think of as punk.
Well, what about the bands itself? I mean, if you think about a band, like Red Wedding, how did they thrive, or did they thrive in a scene? Did they have to be outside gay communities to be successful?
No, they thrived because the music was good, and that's what people were interested in, was the music, and that's what it was all about in that scene, was the music, and that was it.
You call the book Punk. What is this book? It's a collection, really, of some of your thoughts and some of the pieces that you were doing at the time.
Yeah, it's a collection of the articles that I wrote on the scene, and it's also essays on what it was like to work at Data Boy, what it was like to be gay in the 1970s. I asked Michael Ely, who's the lead singer of Hey Taxi and Red Wedding, if he would share what it was like for he and Spider Taylor to live together in the 1970s as an openly gay couple, and they encountered a lot of hostility, a tremendous amount of hostility. And it's surprising to think that, the police were busting up gay bars as late as 1976. So it was a very strange time because there was a lot of oppression that had been going on. But by the time I got there, I didn't know anything about it. So I was all carefree and la-di-da. And when I go to the gay bars and we're all having a good time, the older guys would be sitting at the bar and just shaking their heads because they missed out.
They missed out. You couldn't get away with that.
No, you couldn't.
So things had changed a lot.
Things had changed a lot. In fact, in 1967, the police burst into the Black Cat Lounge on New Year's Eve, and they busted everybody in there. It started a riot. But they arrested two guys in the back for kissing on New Year's Eve. And they were convicted of being sex offenders. And they took that case all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court refused to hear it. So in essence, you had no constitutional right for a man to kiss another man or a woman to kiss another woman. So that just emboldened the LAPD, and they would just go, if you put your hand on the shoulder of another man in a gay bar, one of the undercover cops would arrest you.
Wow. And those arrests would result in convictions? They'd stick?
Very often. And then now you're a registered sex offender.
No. You did have a role, albeit off camera, in a porn film. Yeah,
well, one of our clients was Larry from Trademark Films, and I would do his video boxes. Now, the weird thing about the pornography at the time, in 1980, the price point for VCRs fell below $1,000 as people started buying VCRs, and in L.A. there are a lot of perverts. But the porn movies before that, you had to buy a little 7-minute film and put it on film projector and project it on a sheet or on the wall or whatever if you wanted to watch a porn film, no sound. But then video came along in 1980, and it revolutionized the business. So I was designing the first generation of full-color video boxes for these films. So Larry comes in, and he says, Billy, can you do me a favor? I got a recording session tonight for my movie. Would you do the voice of Kip Noll, the star of the movie? I go, of course I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. He goes, please, Billy, I have a lot of money invested on it. I said, okay. He gave me $100 for going down there. It's going to take an hour. Even today, $100 for an hour isn't bad. So I went down and did it. They showed the film, and I pretended to be the main character in the film. It was just awful. I can't even explain it to you. The film's called Cum'ing of Age, and I won't spell that for you. But yeah, I did that. I was ashamed. I never told anybody about that before this book because I never told anybody about the work at Data Boy. I couldn't show my work because a lot of it was sexually explicit or it was gay.